Hello everyone, welcome back. We are building another house in Lilac Terrace in The Sims 2. This is in my custom neighborhood, which is using the Pontevin terrain map. All information on that is going to be linked down in the description like it is with all of my Sims 2 builds in this neighborhood. We are continuing my recap of my trip to Dallas. Today we're going to be talking about the boat cruise that we went on Friday night, which was not great for me. So I can't really remember what we did Friday. I think we just kind of hung out around the hotel. I don't think we really left. A lot of our friends were coming in that day as well. So it was really nice to see people. We got ready. I wanted to dress up and so did my boyfriend. We were under the impression that this was a bigger boat than it ended up being. So we had to sign waivers because we were going to be out on the water on this boat, which is fine. And I kind of got the feeling from reading the waiver that this wasn't a giant boat. For context, when we went on a dinner cruise when we were in Chicago a few years ago for this convention, they had rented a yacht. We were on a yacht on the Chicago River or something, and that was really pleasant. In the past, when we were in St. Louis, we were on a riverboat, and it was kind of the same situation when we were in New York, when we went to upstate New York for the convention in 2019. Same thing, we were on a big riverboat. It was fine. This one, not so much. I don't know what this was. It wasn't like a catamaran. I thought it was, but I clearly don't know boats. It was very small. There were 90 of us, not including 8 tour volunteers, the crew, and the caterers. Because this is for the American Council of the Blind, all of the attendees, like myself, are blind or visually impaired. I am on the higher end of the blindness spectrum, meaning that I'm kind of considered what people refer to as a high partial, so I can see pretty well. I can kind of pass for sighted, except when it's nighttime. I have really bad vision at night, but I do use a white cane when I'm out and about because it's helpful for me if there's steps or uneven terrain, but also to identify me as a person with a visual impairment to other people. Anyway, we get on the buses. We're going to Lake Ray Hubbard, which where we got off was behind a Hilton or something. That was where the dock was. It's about a half hour away. It takes a while to load the buses because there are 90 of us. We were on the second bus. It was okay. As we're driving, there are clouds moving in and the sky looked really bad. So we ended up getting there and they had us unload in the rain and wind. Literally it was so bad it was raining sideways. None of us brought our rain gear because we didn't think it was going to rain. I didn't even bring my raincoat. I have this lightweight packable raincoat that's Columbia brand, and I did not bring that with me. I left it at home because I was checking the weather and it wasn't going to rain. This was the same day, I think, or maybe right after the terrible flooding that happened along the Guadalupe River. That was awful. So it was raining and there was thunder, and I was like, well, there's thunder. They're not going to let us on this boat. We're going to be in open water. I was wrong. So they had us wait along the side of this pathway leading down to the docks. And there were 2 boats. There was our boat and there was another group getting on a different boat. Our boat was not able to dock. I watched it, and so did my boyfriend and the other people who could see far enough. Because the current on the lake was so bad, it literally could not dock. So once it finally did dock, then the caterers had to load all the food, which was burgers, chicken. There was also potato salad and corn on the cob. I think there might have been regular salad too, or at least the stuff that you put on your burgers. You could make a regular salad out of that. And for dessert, there was either chocolate cake or apple pie, which was fine. We were kind of told that it was going to be 4th of July food because it was the 4th. So we're on this boat and we're moving a lot. And when we get on, it's still raining. The bottom deck that's all enclosed has a capacity of 70 people. There's 90 attendees in addition to the other people that are involved, like the volunteers and the whatever. As soon as it stops raining, the crew did go up to the top deck, which was fully open, and they did dry everything off. But I got so motion sick, you guys, I could barely move. I sat there almost the whole night and we were all dripping wet. Everybody's clothes was soaked through. I had on a dress, and over that dress I had on a really lightweight, almost a duster or something. It was a shawl, but it was nothing. I don't even know how to describe it. It was sheer. It was just an extra layer. But I was soaked through. So we sat at a table with a bunch of other people from Hawaii that my boyfriend was friends with, and I knew some of these people too, so that was good. One of them had brought her backpack with her, and she had a sweatshirt in her backpack, and she felt fine. So she was here. So she gave me her sweatshirt. Thank God, because I was not doing well. I also at that point really felt like I was coming down with the cold, and I know that being outside in the rain and the wind like that did not help that at all. I was okay when we were sitting at the table. As soon as I got up and then moved, and when I went up to the top deck, it wasn't as moving, like it wasn't as much motion, and that was great. But I didn't have good balance going up and down the stairs because the boat was moving so much, and the railing didn't extend fully to cover the full set of stairs. I only went up top once and then came back down. And then we ate, and getting the food was also a cluster because it was a buffet. My boyfriend and I were able to get up and get our own food, but it was hard to juggle other people's plates because the motion of the boat, and there were so many people all crammed in because there was a line for the bar and there was a line for the food, and both of those places were right next to each other on the boat because it's a small boat. I don't know how we managed to make it work. We're riding along this lake, and the captain is talking about stuff that we were passing, which was fine. So there was music and he was talking, and I really genuinely do not think that he got the memo that we were all blind, because he was talking about things as if we could see them as we were passing them, so he wasn't really like describing anything. And then his wife was one of the people on the crew helping serve food, because like some people just couldn't get up and get their own food. It was too chaotic. So they took orders. She came over at one point and she was holding a plate in front of my friend who gave me the sweatshirt, and my friend who gave me the sweatshirt has no vision at all, completely blind. She stood there holding the plate, and I looked at the lady and I was like, ma'am, like everybody on this boat is blind. None of us can see. It was just easier for me to say it like that instead of like explaining what low vision is. So I was like, if you're holding something in front of one of us, you need to say it instead of just holding it there expecting us to react, because my friend didn't know there was food in front of her. The lady looked at me like a deer in the headlights, and then finally I told my friend, I was like, there's a plate of food in front of you that's like being held up above the table. She got her plate, but the woman did not understand the concept, and neither did anybody else. And I felt really bad because like the tour volunteers worked so hard. I really genuinely think that the boat company misled our group, or misled the tour coordinator. We should have been on a bigger boat. I was not the only person, I think, who got motion sick, and there was only one bathroom, and that was also a problem. We ended up having fireworks because by the time the sun had set, it wasn't as cloudy, so like you could see the fireworks. I literally could not even fathom going back up to the top deck to look at them, and I didn't really care. We were able to hear them from where I was sitting. I sat there and talked to my friends like the whole time. I couldn't do it at all. I did not feel good. So we got off the boat. Keep in mind that we were there for maybe like 4 hours. As soon as my feet hit land, I feel like I'm gonna hurl. The boat was air conditioned. The outside was not, obviously, because we're in Texas in the summer. So it's hot and it's humid, and it smelled like weed really bad. So here we are. I have no night vision. My boyfriend and I told the tour volunteers we needed to be like the first ones on that bus and the first ones off, because they have like a loading order. They were like, fine, like get on, that's fine, like get in the front, like just sit there, fine. The tour volunteers that were on our bus, we knew them, we were friends with them because they are parents of a friend of ours, and they come and volunteer every year. So he took me to where the buses thankfully had stayed the whole time. We get there. Our driver is like, yeah, get on, because he was like standing outside the bus. The two volunteers that were on the first bus, because none of our volunteers had arrived yet for the second bus, were giving us crap about getting on because they needed our names. And my boyfriend was like, she's sick. Like literally, guys, I needed to sit down in air conditioning. I felt so sick. Instead of being like, oh, okay, they argued about it. So I got on, and the driver was like, just get on the bus. I'll argue with them for you. So I did. One of our friends passed me like a nice bottle of water. That was great. I just like sat there the whole time with my eyes closed because I couldn't deal. We got back to the hotel. I peeled off my soaking wet clothes and I crawled into bed, and my boyfriend, God bless him, he made me tea. Oh, and I think I was running a fever. He made me tea in the Keurig in the hotel room. And because it was the Keurig, it took like 5 years to make the stupid tea. He went down to the front desk. In the app, we saw that you could request a kettle as well as like a humidifier and several other things for no charge. So he went to the front desk. It was 11 o'clock at night, 11:30 at night, I think, by this point. Asked for a kettle and robes and slippers. They came up almost immediately. I think he told them that I was sick. Honestly, this hotel had like the best service. I was then able to keep using the kettle throughout the week to make tea, which worked a hell of a lot faster than using the Keurig or the microwave, because the kettle is like an electric kettle. It has like the induction base or whatever. We had a humidifier. That did kind of help a little bit because, you know, hotels are really dry. The robes and slippers were also nice because the first part of our hotel room where the bathroom was and where you entered, it was all tile. So it was nice to like not be be walking around in bare feet, especially if it was like wet from the shower. That was not great. And then Saturday I wasn't feeling well at all, but we managed and we got there. Anyway, we're done with this build. Thank you guys for listening to me rant and complain about this. There's more to talk about with this trip, but really like the boat cruise was such a cluster. Thank you so much for watching though. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments, feedback, and suggestions down below and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.